Today we're at the Venetian. I'm gonna play a $400 tournament, and it's actually a pretty interesting structure. Normally these days, you can re-enter unlimited amounts of time for like 9 hours of registration, but today they're doing a tournament and they're calling it a throwback tournament because apparently back in the day, a tournament started when it started and it ended when you were out. So I guess this is a throwback because they're only doing 1 hour of registration. It's a freeze out. So once I bust, I'm out. In the first hand, we look down at pocket jacks from under the gun. We open it up to 800, and my good friend in the big blind, who I study a lot of poker with, makes the call. Flop comes down queen 6-4 with 2 diamonds. He checks, and I quickly check this one back. I'm not gonna get 3 streets of value anyway. I'd rather pot control. He started the hand with 40 big blinds and can check raise his board a lot, so we check it back. Turn comes an offsuit 5. This time he leads 700 into 2100, about a third of the pot. I make the call. River comes an offsuit 9. He bets again for 1,000 and I just make the call. When he flips over his hand, he's got 7-6 offsuit. So he's going for a pretty thin value with third pair, but I did a double take. I almost mucked my hand because I thought he had 2 pairs straight, but yeah, caught myself before I mucked the winner, turned it over and take down a small pot. In this one, I look down at queen 10 off and open it up in the cutoff to 1,200. Button makes a call, big blind comes along as well. So 3 ways, the flop comes down jack 9-3 with 2 diamonds. So flush draw on board, but we flop an open ender, and I think it's gonna be a lot easier to play going forward if I bet. So I bet 2,500, but they both come along. So fingers crossed for an 8 or a king. Turn comes down 5 of spades, and the big blind leads out for 5,500. So pretty non-standard play here from the big blind, but I don't think he's leading a draw himself. I think he would just check and try to get a free river. But the main thing is I have to worry about the guy behind me on the button. He can also have a strong hand or a strong draw, and just having an open-ended when there's a flush draw and not knowing what to do on a lot of rivers, even when you do make your straight, if the flush comes in with your straight card, it's just gonna be too difficult to play. You have no idea where you're at in the hand. So I lay this one down, button lays it down, and the big blind flashes us the jack of clubs. So he flopped top pair, decided to lead the turn. Nice hand. This table has been crazy up until this point. We're only a few levels into this thing. People are 70 big blinds deep on average, and 4 people had busted. A lot of action so far. I'm loving this tournament.
All right, we're here on first break. This tournament is really awesome. I already love it. 30-minute levels, so people are busting like crazy. I think there's only like 83 of us. The tournament's gonna be done by 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. First place is like 9,000, so you can win 9K in a day. It's actually perfect for vlogs. There was a guy who came up to me at the beginning and he had me pull my mask down real quick to see who I was, and he was like, "It's you, it is you." He said that he actually was motivated to come play the tournament today because he had watched my Bellagio tournament vlog. So that was really a cool moment for the vlog, just to have somebody show up, play a tournament just because they saw a video online, and that was really cool to see. That's the whole point of this thing. I want to see more people get out there, try poker, and enjoy it. So anyway, good luck. Shout out to Chris. Good luck to him in this tournament. I hope to see you in about, 8 hours at the final table.
This hand is really fun, so get ready. Under the gun limps, under the gun 2 limps behind, and I look down at ace king offsuit in the cutoff. I raise it up to 2,500. I could maybe even go bigger because honestly, these guys weren't folding a lot pre. But I went 2,500, big blind, cold calls, under the gun calls, under the gun 2 calls as well. So 4 ways, we're going to a flop of ace 6-6. So pretty dream spot for me. Top pair, top kicker, 4-way scenario. I only started the hand with a little more than 30 big blinds. So I'm really looking to pile in some money here. Checks to me, I'm gonna bet the same size as my pre-flop raise. In a 4-way pot, I bet small anyways. I bet 2,500. Big blind, who is the same guy who led that last hand with the jack, raises to 7,000. I have seen him on and off overplay some top pair hands. Let's just say he doesn't have to have a really strong hand to be raising in these types of spots. So I'm not actually worried about this raise. What I am worried about is under the gun, just smooth calling the 7K. Just I'm gonna stick it in there. I'm gonna sneak my little 7,000 in there, pretend I'm not worried about this flop. Under the gun 2 folds, and now I have a decision to make because 7,000 of my 18,000, you know, I'm not gonna just call that. I'm either gonna go with this hand right now or I'm gonna fold. I'm telling you, in the pit of my stomach, it did not feel very good. I'm wondering what you guys would do, but I have ace king. I had 30 blinds to start this hand. How can I fold on an ace high flop? Remember, under the gun was the original limper. So, I mean, if anybody's gonna have a 6, it's gonna be him. So I kind of, him and Haw go back and forth. I ended up deciding to go with it. I jam it all in. I was like, okay, if somehow under the gun is overvaluing an ace as well because he has seen big blinds play, then I really am gonna just be kicking myself if I fold this and would have won and tripled up in a huge way. Big blind calls my jam. Under the gun also calls. So when this happens, I know I'm dead. They get it all in on the turn. The turn comes down to king. And when the hands are revealed, we see that big blind has ace jack offsuit, and under the gun, the original limper has ace 6 of hearts. He just stone flopped us dead. So we're hoping for that miracle river. It comes down, not one of our outs, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we're out of the tournament. Exciting last hand, but now we're looking to play some cash games over at the Win. I played the same tournament the next day, but couldn't get anything going and ended up busting after dinner break in 35th, only 15 paid. Still think it's a great tournament, so we're back again today. All right, third attempt at this throwback tournament. Maybe third time's a charm. Let's go see. So I started today with 4 ladies at my table. I just had to get it on film because it's super rare and I'm really happy to see it. I opened king queen offsuit on the button to 1,500 and just the big blind, who's been playing a ton of hands, makes the call. Flop comes down ace queen 3 rainbow. He checks. I'm gonna check this one back and try to get him to bluff on turn or river. Turn comes an offsuit king, so now I make 2 pair and he leads 2,800 into 3,900. He's been playing a ton of hands, like I said, so I just want to call this and let him keep bluffing on the river. River is an offsuit 6, but he slows down, he checks over to me, and I go for value, obviously. I bet 6K, and he thinks for a bit and folds. The next time I'm on the button, I look down at the second best hand in poker and raise it up to 2K. Both the blinds come along, and on a flop of 6-6 deuce, when they check to me, I c-bet for 2,200. Unfortunately, they both fold. I was really hoping to get some action on this one because they've both been in a ton of pots, and it's a really dry flop, but so be it. I don't have to be sad for too long because the very next hand I look down at pocket kings again. This time the low jack limps in for 800. I raise it up to 3K. One small adjustment that I've been making at this table is because they're playing so many hands, I'm raising bigger pre-flop just to charge those weak holdings. When it folds back around to the low jack, he makes the call. Something to note about this low jack real quick is that earlier he was playing super tight and then lost, got his aces cracked to seat 5, and then played another hand against him with a terrible hand just to get revenge, took it very personally, and told the guy, I'm going for it this time. And so I jokingly said, if we're in a hand together and you're gonna be going for it, let me know, okay? And we just kind of giggled. So now we're in this hand together. He calls and he says,
I'm going for it.
Okay.
Then you know
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
So with that little piece of information, we see a flop of jack 9-4 2 clubs. He leads now for 3,500 after saying he's going for it. I know he's trying to look like he's just being crazy, but I actually think he has a decent hand. I raise it up on a draw heavy board. I'm going to raise it to 10K because even if he has a draw, I think he's going to continue against whatever I do. He quickly calls. The turn is a 6 of spades, bringing a backdoor flush draw. He checks and he only has about 15K behind, so I jam all in. He makes the call and reveals that he has ace jack of diamonds. So he did in fact flop top pair, top kicker, declared that he was going for it. Somehow he knew the jack was coming. Unfortunately for him, I have an overpair and he's drawing to an ace or a jack on the river. River comes, offsuit 9. We bust our neighbor. Sad to see him go. He was a super nice guy, but happy to take the chips. The low jack limps in for 1200 in this one. Small blind completes, and I looked at a jack 10 offsuit in the big blind and check my option. So in a rare three-way limped pot, flop comes down 10, 5, 7, rainbow. Checks are under the low jack. He bets 2100. Small blind folds. I make the call. Turn is an offsuit king. I check it over to him once again. He bets 3500. I'm not going anywhere. I make the call. This guy's been aggressive enough pre-flop and post-flop enough that I feel very good about having a 10. River is an offsuit deuce. We both check it down. When I say I have a 10, it's good, and we scoop yet another pot. In the last significant hand before break, I look down at pocket eights under the gun 1, raise it up to 2500. Folds around to the button. She's played very snug, and when she does enter the pot, she's done a lot of calling. So when she 3-bets me to 6K, it screams strength, but I got pocket eights, and this is a very small 3-bet. I make the call, hoping to flop a set, which I do. The flop comes down ace 8-6 with 2 diamonds. I check it to her, hoping that she has ace king or something, but she quickly checks back. The turn is an offsuit deuce, and after she checks back the flop, I think she has a pair between pocket nines all the way up to pocket kings, although I really don't think she would even 3-bet pocket nines through jacks. She'd been playing very tight. So I'm going to try to get value from those pairs under an ace. So I bet 10K into 15K, and she quickly makes the call. The river is a jack of diamonds, so the front door flush completes, but like I said, I think she would have bet her flush draws on the flop. I don't think that she's gonna bet a lot when I check to her. I'm in a spot where I think my opponent's gonna call me with hands that they're not gonna bet themselves. That's when I'm gonna go for some thin value. I choose a smallish sizing of 13,000, and she goes well into the tank before finally deciding on a call. We're happy with that call. Once she takes so long, we know we're good. Flip over our set of eights, and she flips over her hand. She had pocket kings. Still running hot, winning lots of pots. Very excited to go on break with this stack. As you can see, the day is going a lot smoother than the past 2 days combined. I've been getting a lot of value with my good hands. I'm actually connecting with boards, and it feels really good. Things start to get interesting after break. I open king jack of diamonds under the gun 1 to 3,500, and the button, same lady from last hand, makes the call, and the big blind, who has also played very snug. I have played with him all day today and the day before. He is very solid. He makes the call as well. Flop comes down king 9-6, 2 clubs and a diamond. When big blind checks to me, I actually want to pot control this hand. I'm not going to get 3 streets from these opponents, so I check it over to the button. She snap bets 10,000 into 12,500, and already my alarm bells are going off. This is a pretty big bet for her. She did it very quickly, and she's got a couple of timing tells going on. Already not loving it, even though I have top pair and a backdoor flush draw. Obviously, I wouldn't go anywhere, but then the big blind doesn't take any time before going all in. Now, like I said, he's been playing tight. He knows that she's been playing tight, and she bet almost pot. So I really think this is a bad spot for me. I know I have top pair, it looks great, and I am under rep by checking, but these guys just are not playing this aggressively post flop with a hand worse than mine. The best case scenario I could be in is up against 2 flush draws that just went nuts. So I make the fold. I turn my camera off because I have muscle memory now of just turning my camera off after I fold. Then I remember, oh, I want to show you guys the outcome of this hand, and I just wanted to see for myself. I turn my camera back on. She finally makes the call after almost a full minute in the tank. And you guys, when I say she's been playing tight, she flips over ace king, and he flips over ace king. So neither one of them 3-bet me free, and she wasn't even happy getting an ace king on this flop. When I tell you that I think king jack was a really easy fold, I'm happy that they got to showdown and you could see their hands, so you're not just thinking that I'm like a crazy nit. A full hour and a half goes by, which is 3 whole levels of this tournament before I have another playable hand. This spot is very easy. Low jack jams. I have ace king offsuit, jam over the top of that, and we get it in way ahead of ace 7 offsuit. But he runs out of straight, and we lose a very sizable portion of our stack. All right, we're at the tail end of dinner break. I'm going back with a little less than 20 blinds, but I could be at a final table in about 4 hours. We get some new opponents at our table who are opening a lot of hands. One of them is even making it 3x pre when he has all these short stacks behind him. So it's a very good scenario for me, who is also on a short stack. This guy opens the low jack in this hand to 12K. I have pocket eights on the button. Very easy shove for 16 bigs. I go all in and he folds. So we pick up a huge portion of our stack without having to see showdown. We short stack Ninja for another 2 hours, you guys. Never give up if you're on a short stack, especially in a turbo, because eventually everybody's gonna be short. Just jam, cross your fingers, hope you win the flip. In this one, we look down at ace-9 offsuit in the cutoff. The blinds have just gone up, so we have a very short stack of 11.5 bigs, easy shove. This time we get called in the small blind, and when he flips over his hand, we see we're up against ace-queen. So we might have finally gotten caught in this one. The board runs out king, jack, 5 with 2 clubs, not looking great. Turn comes in 8. River, 6 of clubs. He rivers the stone cold nuts. Once again, third time in 3 days, we are out of the tournament. We went the farthest we did in all 3 days today, but still not close enough. We're about 15 people away from cashing. We'll just have to do it all over again another day.
Tournaments are not for the faint of heart, y'all. So if you're gonna take tournaments on, make sure you have a lot saved up on the side. Make sure you have a lot of grit, a lot of resilience. Make sure you can get back up and do it all over again the next day. And also just make sure that you can focus on getting better as a player and not so much the results of each single tournament or each single hand. That's my advice, because I'm going through it right now. Not gonna lie, it is getting really frustrating to bust these over and over again. But like I always say, day's gonna come and then all of this is gonna feel like it was worth it. When we finally get that huge payday one day, it's all gonna feel that much sweeter. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. As always, see you next time. Good luck at the tables if you're playing this week.